bare du som
Ja, bare meg.
stiller med hele familie.
Ja, jeg tar
Ansvaret, ja.
Ja.
Det er ok, det.
Men det er hyggelig altså at dere jobber sammen.
Ja, vi jobber hos oss. Vi gjør alt mulig rart. Og tar alt mulig rart også, uten å protestere.
Ja, bra.
Så jeg håper det blir noe.
Det er fantastisk kollega å ha når det er sånn.
Ja, veldig.
Ja.
Det merker du sikkert selv også.
Ja, det er når man jobber med sånne folk, så er jo alt.
Ja.
Så er det jo sånn at så, i hvert fall liksom, hvis man ikke er enormt bedrift, så er det jo mye forskjellig.
Du har fått to barn. Så det får jo passe hverandres barn også.
Ja,
Det er litt sånn.
altså det stemmer det, for nå er hun ene i bursdag, og han andre hos han pappa.
Ja.
Og så var jo brua stengt for å
Ja.
ikke gå på Maria. Så de ble, to av henne som ble strandet på øya. Og de sa, ja, så det har vært et sammensur, men ikke så mye egentlig.
Er de forsiktige?
Ja, litt, for de har jo sånn program, så jeg er jo litt bekymret for det.
tid.
Still in the UK.
Kunne vi starte igen?
Tried some Norwegian seafood before.
Skrei,
Salmon.
whale,
Yeah, whale.
seal.
Seal. Well, we've had some for breakfast this morning. Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, I know Norway is famous for king crab, so I was sure to eat it.
How can we promote sea cucumbers in Norway and international?
My fiance wanted to try the king crab.
Well, I expect the seafood to be delicious because it's so fresh right by the sea.
I was wanting to try maybe a little bit of whale, although I feel a bit weird about it, I don't know.
And reindeer.
Welcome everybody. Today we'll be talking about this. We'll be talking about seafood. And we will not only be talking about seafood, we will also be tasting and cooking with seafood. We will have companies. We have a lot of companies, and we have politicians and policymakers and youth on stage. This event is organized together with Tromsø County Council. So together with the Arctic Economic Council and Tromsø County Council, I welcome all of you. We also have the Minister of Fisheries with us online. Hello, Cecilia. I hope you can hear us. And Cecilia is from Tromsø, but right now in Oslo. Can you hear us, Cecilia?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. And I just want to hear, if you could just briefly, as Minister of Fisheries, you're of course representing all of Norway, but what is your relationship personally with North Norway and the blue economy?
Well, the most of us who has been grown up in the northern part of Norway has also always been by and on the sea. So it's great important for me to see all of the opportunity that the ocean gives us. And the fisheries is some of our finest resources. And the North Norwegian cod is like skrei. Is really beautiful. So I'm proud the minister for Norway, but from the northern part of Norway.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And we will hear more from you in a second. But first, we need to set the scene. We need to understand how important is the blue economy to Norway. And for that, we have a senior scientist from Nofima who has done research into the effects of the seafood in the Norwegian economy. So Odin Iversen, the stage is yours. Please tell us how important is the seafood sector to Norway?
Thank you very much. I will talk about, thank you. I will talk about the importance for the seafood industry, both for Norway, for Tromsø and Finnmark, for Tromsø and even parts of Tromsø. To capture the effect of an industry, we calculate first value creation and employment in the core activities of the value chain, like fishing and aquaculture, slaughter processing, sales and marketing. Then we calculate the ripple effects as purchases from the value chain, from their suppliers and their suppliers again in 10 iterations. So we capture quite most of the ripple effects. My first message is that seafood is becoming ever more important for Norway. Only over the last 10 years, its economic importance has doubled. This is, of course, much due to the growing production of salmon, but also on increasing prices for salmon and other wild fish. Regarding wild fish, the employment has over time decreased, but as we see, it has stabilized for the last 10 years. In aquaculture, employment is steadily increasing and might in quite a few years supersede that from the wild fish industry. Looking at Tromsø and Finnmark County, we see that it is the largest seafood county in Norway. For Norway as a whole, we find that the seafood industry employ 86,000 people for both core activities and ripple effects. For Tromsø and Finnmark, about 15,000 people are employed, and that constitutes about 13% of the workforce in Tromsø and Finnmark. Moving further down into Troms, we see that Senja is by far the largest seafood community. They are large in both fisheries and aquaculture, and in processing of both salmon and wild fish. Tromsø has the largest population of fishermen in Norway, and we see that there are, as number 3 and 4, there are 2 small communities, Skjervøy and Karlsøy, and you can just imagine how important fisheries is for those smaller communities. In Tromsø, we find smaller communities as well, because in Tromsø, much of the fisheries activity does take place not in the city center, but in the periphery of Tromsø municipality. We find 7 small fishing harbors with a lot of fishermen and fish processing, and of course in the same areas we find aquaculture in Tromsø. Things happen in Tromsø city center as well, but that is some sales and administration and a lot of administrative bodies, research, and so on. Thank you. That was my 3 minutes.
I would say fisk, potatoes, and bacon. That would be Tromsø in a nutshell. The challenges living in the Arctic is, first of all, recruitment. Tromsø is, or the restaurant industry recruitment in Norway in general is a little bit declining, so we have to look abroad for new colleagues. So we try to stay true to the Norwegian traditions, of course, but we definitely get influences from all over the world. Our head chef is Japanese, for example, so we have some influences there. And we have Polish, Argentinian, Spanish. So we try to blend a little bit cultures without losing our roots here in the north of Norway. The Arctic sea products we have, the fish and seafood, is amazing quality, probably one of the best in the world. We also have some local farms, of course, but the Arctic is a little bit tricky with the season.
And from one chef to another, probably one of the best restaurants in town, and also a restaurant that is moving to a new location. We have Espen from Restaurant Smack. And before we talk, Espen, I just want to hear if the minister is still online and if she has ever heard about Restaurant Smack. We'll see if we get, yeah.
I've been eating there.
You have been eating there, that's perfect. And also, you also know Halvors, or you also know Lyngen Reika, I guess.
Yes, of course.
We will just
Quality products from the northern part of Norway.
Perfect, because we will hear from Smack, where you've been eating, and we will hear from Lyngen Reika, and we will hear from Halvors in a second, and then we will get back to you, and you will get a little bit more time to talk. But first, Espen, could you just briefly tell me what is Restaurant Smack? What do you do? Where's your roots, and so on?
Yeah, Smack is a small restaurant. It's a local food restaurant, I would say. We try to let our local products shine through. So we source food from small farmers and bigger ones, of course, but as much local as possible. And we try to give that produce the best possible flavor it can have. So we try to for example, if we have a carrot from the farm that we buy from, so we try to make that carrot taste so much carrot as it possibly can. So that's very important for me and for us. And
you're moving to a new location.
Yes.
You're expanding.
Yes, we are. Smack is not expanding. Smack will be the same. It will be a different setup, but the same all in all, 22 seats, and that's it. But we are also opening like a neighborhood restaurant with a cocktail bar. So we want to, because we want to take advantage of the whole product that we buy and reduce waste, of course. We don't have any waste by now, but we want to have even less. And we want to give a bit of tradition back to the people. So it will be a lot of food that people remember from growing up and stuff like that. So.
And today is seafood, and you have brought some seafood with us. Could you just, we will get back to you in more details, but could you explain kind of what's on the menu tonight?
Yeah, we can start there. We have sea urchins. It's from Ecofang, the guys we use normally. We have shrimps from Lyngen. We have klippfisk from Halvors. We have skrei, of course. It's season now. We have some seaweed that we have picked. And it's the skrei we use more. We have the swim bladder. The swim bladder looks like this when it's this is clean though, but it looks like this when it's raw. It looks like this when it's cooked. It looks like this when it's dried, like hard, and like this when it's fried. So everyone will, or the people eating will get a taste of this. I've also used the roe from the skrei and the skin. So a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
And just tell me about the swim bladder briefly. I mean, is this a traditional thing to eat, or is that something that you have said we need to use that product?
It's something that I discovered through a project about using everything from a product. So that's how this came, and it's like eating, I don't know, bacon crisp, but with a nice fishy flavor.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we heard about two companies. We heard about Halvors and we heard about Lyngen Reicher. We will now hear from those companies. So first, if Liv Margrethe Hansen could come on stage and present what Halvors is. We've heard already the minister mentioning it. We heard from SMAC. And then straight after Halvors, we will have Jack from Lyngen Reicher to present. So the floor is yours, Liv.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and hi. My name is Liv Hansen, and I'm the CEO of a company called Halvors, which is based here in Tromsø. Halvors is a small, family-owned company founded by my father 24 years ago. I am currently working there with my older sister and my father too, amongst other colleagues. We produce wild-caught fish from the coast of northern Norway and offer high-quality products of stockfish, klippfish, as mentioned by Espen, buknafish, and lutefish. All our products are crafted by hand and are delivered ready to use without any skin and bones. We do not use any additives in our production, so our products are 100% natural. And our aim is to be the best supplier of North Norwegian seafood in the world. And we deliver products to restaurants all over Norway and Italy. And we have customers from big hotels and cruise ships to small local restaurants. And the thing that our customers have in common is that they all see the value of using Norwegian seafood in general, and especially matured fish. And they especially like matured fish which we produce because it has a rich flavor, a texture which makes it really interesting on the one hand, and on the other hand, these kind of products has a rich history and passion behind them, because there's a lot of people behind these kind of products, from the fresh cut until it's dried, until it comes to us and we put it into water, and then it comes to a kitchen and then served to a guest. I am extremely proud to be working with Norwegian seafood. I think there is nothing more rewarding than to work with products like these that are so sustainable. So I feel very lucky. However, we are facing a few challenges. We've had very many visitors in our company during the past few years, and they all say the same. Oh, it's so nice that you are producing fish here in Norway. But what we see is that the competition for the raw material is very big. The demand for the Norwegian cod is big, and the industry wants to send the cod out into other markets without processing it at home. And we see that fewer and fewer companies process seafood here in Norway. And we are building down our industry, and we see that Norwegian seafood give jobs to 21,000 people in Europe, for example. This is numbers from 2018. And we also talk about knowledge, that it's power, and that's absolutely true. But when we are giving our raw material to other markets without doing any processing ourselves, we are missing out on valuable knowledge when it comes to product development, processing, and marketing. And at the same time, we are missing out on the added value we can have on the products, and we are missing out on the jobs. So these are some of the challenges we are seeing. But in spite of that, I think that seafood, and especially Norwegian seafood, is the future. We just need to preserve it in the right way. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jack from Lyng Reker, please take the stage.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining so late in the evening. I will present Lyng Reker, our products and our history. So I will do this one, of course. Lyng Reker was established in the 1950s, based actually on a new resource available from the coastal of Lyngen, and also the coastal of Finnmark and Troms. Before that, nobody actually knew there was a Pandalus borealis prawn species available and could be eaten. The locals were a bit afraid for the product and for the creature because they didn't know how to deal with it. But after several years, this industry became quite important for the Troms and Finnmark country. At the most, there were 20 different prawn factories, all producing on seasonal basis. After some years, we are now only 3 left, and we are more kind of an industry where we also use frozen raw material. But for our factory, we took a decision in 2006 that we were only to deal with fresh, locally inshore fleet. Today we have 25 employees. That's quite a lot in a small village with 200 people. We do 100 tons of raw material, mainly fresh. We have 2 trawlers we own ourselves, and we have 17 independent fishermen delivering to us every day. The core part of our strategy is that we have 7 different trucks, because Tromsø and Finnmark country is very long and very wide, so we need to be on different locations in the evening to collect the product. Our people is, of course, part of our core business and core strategy. Since we started in 1950, there's been a good place to be in Lyngen and North Troms area, because people are used to work in the fish industry. So there has been a tradition. So there's always been kind of a competition to be the fastest worker, in terms of peeling shrimps per kilo or per hour. And we have been very lucky to have people that have been happy with working in the fish industry. In some areas that could be a challenge, for example Tromsø, they will more like to be in the academic world, but where we are, it's a bit of status to work with Lyngenfjord prawns. Our products are based on fresh products, which we deliver daily to high-end retailers and high-end restaurants in Nordic countries. And when we started with this fresh line in 2003, many of the vessel owners were catching prawns Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and were trying to sell them on a Friday or Saturday in the harbor of Tromsø. So we said, okay, this is not necessary for you guys to try to sell the products from the boat. It's much better that you are out fishing and we can take care of the sales and the marketing. And by that, we'll be able to sell around, I think the annual sales in Tromsø was around 2 tons of shell-on fresh prawns, and today we are selling almost 100 tons. So the retailers have products every day, every week, 50 weeks a year. Our daily struggle. Somebody says this is probably the most important part of what we are doing, because the area we are operating in is quite large and wide. And for us to go to Vadsø by truck, it's almost 11 hours. And if we have boats in Bodø, that's another 11 hours. So in 22 hours, consistently sitting in the car, we can to collect our prawns. So that's the reason why we have 7 own trucks, which we are able to get a prawn for the fishermen fresh every night. You can imagine if a boat should travel this distance by themselves, that would not be efficient at all. So it's much better that we are doing it, and we can collect the product from different vessels at different time or same time. And all these different fjords also have their own kind of a seasonal.
We are running out of time. We have a minister and we have another state secretary here.
So I have 1 minute left?
Yeah, 5 seconds left.
5 seconds, okay. What we do needs to be sustainable. And to living in a local community, we need to have focus on this in the future. Energy, competent workforce, a lot of things. And to be able to be sustainable in the future, we need to see through that we are able to recruit and invest.
Thank you. And I just want... We had a few technical problems in the beginning, so we are running slightly behind schedule. And Cecilia, I'm very grateful for you joining us online. And I will just ask you 2 quick questions you can reflect over, and then I know you have to log off. But one is, we heard from the speakers here how to create wealth along the coast. You know, how do we ensure that we actually benefit the people along the coast, that processing happens there? And the second one is also, we also heard that locals have to eat more seafood. So I know we have gone a little bit over time, so I will just give you a few minutes to reflect on that, and then we'll go on to the next panel. Cecilia, the screen is yours.
Yes, thank you so much. And first I have to say I'm a proud minister when you hear these people talking about the Norwegian seafood and our culture. And I agree that the Norwegian seafood is, of course, the future. Because the seafood sector is very important for Norway, both culturally and also economically. Stockfish has been among our best-known exports for thousands of years, reaching all corners of the world. And we are also well known for our renowned salmon, fresh skrei, and exclusive shellfish. And our ambition is to ensure that the seafood sector remains a pillar in future coastal communities. We aim to do this through a diverse fishing fleet consisting of boats of all sizes spread along the entire coast. And our ambition is to strengthen our seafood processing industry in the face of fierce international competition. Developing the aquaculture sector is also crucial. There is no doubt about its importance and potential. And more food from the ocean will also require more production from aquaculture, and it has to be sustainable. Last year, we introduced a resource rent tax on aquaculture. This tax will ensure that society as a whole receive a greater share of the extraordinary return generated in the aquaculture industry. And we also see a great potential in aquaculture to produce new species, for example, seaweed, and fishing other species like calamus and mesopelagic fish. And new industries based on byproducts could also provide new opportunities. The long-term goal is that all byproducts from the seafood sector should be fully utilized. This together will contribute to value creation and economic opportunity even in small and inaccessible communities. And I understood that the other question you asked was how to get Norwegians to eat more seafood.
Yes.
That was correct.
Yes, correct.
Yes, and that is, of course, a big concern for me because we see especially young people eat less seafood now than they did before. So we have some challenges before us that we have to handle, of course, together. But increased production and consumption of sustainable seafood is really important for food security and nutrition. And more aquatic food is also crucial in ensuring sustainable food systems in the future. And a food chain approach from healthy waters to healthy people is needed to make sure more seafood makes it to people's plates and are consumed a part of a healthy diet. And we have knowledge providing opportunities for increased sea-based production and sustainable management. Research and programs have given us broad knowledge on the benefits of seafood and health. And the Norwegian Health Authority's recommendation is to increase the consumption of fish. And children, youngsters and young adults consume significantly less fish, as I already have mentioned, than older population. Eating patterns developing at an early age, though it is especially important to focus on children and youngsters. Our main instruments in the Norwegian dietary program, Fiskesprell, aimed at developing positive attitudes to healthy seafood. Through this, we hope to nudge the younger generations to increase seafood consumption through positive tasting experiences. Courses for teachers and kindergarten staff provides both theoretical and practical competence. All junior secondary schools in Norway may receive educational materials from Fiskesprell and financially contribution to cover the cost of purchasing seafood. Recently, we strengthened the program by granting 3.9 million Norwegian crowns to reduce the economic barriers of using seafood in cooking in schools and kindergartens. For the population at large, large food prices will always be an issue. So we will have to continue to raise consumer awareness, attitudes, and practical skills to include tasty seafood and healthy and sustainable diets. So I just have to say I wish you all luck with this evening. I wish I could be there with you as not only a fishery minister, but I would say I'm also a minister with the responsibility for food. So thank you so much for your attention.
No, thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Mike Tyson was asked once before a match with Evander Holyfield if he had a plan for his fight, and he said, "Yes, I have a plan until the moment you get punched in the face, and then I throw away the plan." We have a few changes to everything, but we are extremely lucky that we have the State Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Maria, who I'm sure all of you have seen in many other panels because he's running around. So we have her for half an hour. Maria, I would like to invite you on stage and also like to offer you some food from Restaurant Smack. I would also like to invite the youth ambassador or the youth leader in the county council, Luna, who, as you know, this event is organized together with Fylkeskommunen. Please take a seat up there. This is arranged together with Fylkeskommunen, and Luna is one of the leaders. And we also have a representatives from the county council. So please, Håkon, also take the stage.
Thank you. And I promise not to punch anyone in the face.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will promise to give you some food. So we will have some food coming over to you from Restaurant Smack. It's just small finger bites. You will also have a chance, while I go and talk with the chef, to eat it, so you don't need to eat it while you are talking in the panel. Also, if anyone in the audience hasn't tried sea urchin, I will offer you a taste of sea urchin. So for any volunteers, be able to raise your hands. Maria, first of all, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And I just want to ask, because for us in the Arctic Economic Council, seafood is also geopolitics. It's global. You know, we export to the whole world. Norway is exporting to the whole world. Could you maybe talk a little bit about what Norway is doing to export the food, like to promote the export of the food, and how you're working with your embassies and all your representation abroad, highlighting the North Norwegian seafood or just seafood in general?
Well, thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. As you know, Norway is an ocean nation. Yes, we're a large fisheries nation as well, and that's an important part of our industry and our income. So our main ambition is to ensure sustainability in how we produce not only fish, but how we balance different types of marine and maritime activities. And also, at the same time as we're doing everything we can to help the world achieve climate targets. And as we know, the way food is being produced on a global scale is contributing greatly to climate change. Land use change, environmental degradation. We know that the climate impact of food being produced in the ocean is much lower than food being produced on land. And so we need to, at all times, think about how do we develop different value chains which take emission and environmental impact down. This is also a priority for the fishery sector. How can we ensure that our fishing vessels are not contributing greatly to emissions? How can we also help them to reduce their environmental footprint, which again will help them to thrive in the new green developing market, which is the European market. So promoting that, the perspective of sustainability and the value chain dimension is something we do actively together with the fisheries industry, with our foreign missions, and eating more fish is more healthy for us, for all of us. So it's good for the planet and good for our health.
And I think that's a good segue to Luna, the youth leader here in the County Council, because we need to eat more. We need to eat more fish. We heard from the minister, Norwegians are not eating enough fish. So, I mean, I'm sorry for you, but you have to speak on behalf of all youth in Norway now. What can we get to get people to eat more seafood?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. I thought the most logical thing to do here would be go straight to the source and ask, why don't you eat fish? And I got quite a few interesting answers. The first one is that aren't we supposed to be disappointed when our parents tell us we're going to eat fish? It's like this, we have this mindset that it's a disappointing dish. You hear like in movies and so on, oh, yeah, sorry, we're having fish. And that's kind of the mindset that has been planted amongst youth, I think. And also, young people often start making their own food at my age and a bit younger. And when you go to the store, you don't think of buying fish. It doesn't seem like something delightful, something very good, the best meal you could have that day. You would rather buy burgers, fries, or perhaps something you saw on TikTok, which is rarely fish. And also, there's, of course, a lot of talk around sustainability. And there is an understanding amongst young people that fishing is more sustainable than red meat, and that's why we need to eat it more, and we are aware that we should eat it more. But young people are also very concerned for fishing farms and how they might mistreat the fish and so on. And so they are very like, if my neighbor fishes for me and have some left over, I would be happy to take it. But if not, then then I might be a little bit more hesitant. So I think we should make it more attractive, make fish not just be fish. I mean, sushi isn't fish, sushi is a dish which you are delighted to eat, while salmon with rice and cod with potato, that's just fish, you know?
It's also good.
Yeah.
But I'm older.
And then we'll get back to both of you, all of you later. I just want to hear from Håkon, because you're a chef. You had a fish shop. You were selling fish in Harstad, where you're from, and you also sit in the county council in the committee of trade. And I'm a little bit curious about, you know, what can we do better? What do you see? You know, you've been trying to sell this fish to the young people who rather want burger. But what can we do?
I'm an educated chef, as you said, and had my own fish shop, and so my relationship to seafood is quite good. I love to cook with it. I like to eat it. And we also have in the county a project called Matrike Arctic, where we promote Arctic food and also focus on local food protection. And this is something we will continue doing in the future. Another thing, I think, as a school owner, which the county is, we should implement the seafood even better in our schools, so that the young chefs can learn how to use these lovely materials.
Yeah, thank you. I want to give you guys some food, and I want to talk with the chef, and Maria is running in a few minutes. So let's just get some food on stage. I will go and talk with the chef and actually hear what it is that you will be eating right now. So Espen, what are we serving the state secretary, the youth leader, and the county council leader?
Right now, first it's a swim bladder of the skreikål. Yeah. That's deep fried, and it's like a cream of the roe of skrei. That's I just blend it with some fish stock made from skrei as well, and just some small herb that we grow ourselves.
And what is this? What I see here? If you just go.
This is it's a crustade, so it's a pastry it's a beer batter that you fry. It's an old-fashioned way that you have an iron, you put in hot oil, and then you take it out and put it in the dough, and then back in the oil. There is a salad of shrimps from Lyngen and some shrimps from Lyngen on top.
And if people notice, there are 3 people on the panel, but there's a lot more food here, so some of you will get to taste. I just want to, one final question is, do you see a difference between the foreigners coming to eat at your restaurant and the locals coming to eat in how they dare to eat, or what they want to eat of seafood?
Not really, no.
No. So everyone wants to eat the sea urchins.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Some are a little bit scared, but when they get a taste of it, they think it's fantastic. So I think foreigners are more open to it than Norwegians, especially if they're a little bit older. But it's getting there. So
perfect. Yeah, you can continue to serve, because I just want us to. We have a short video to play, and then we have 2 speakers after that, and then we have the last question for Maria.
Kelp is harvested commercially in Norway, and it's used to produce a substance, a polysaccharide called alginate. And this alginate is used in food production as a gel producer. So if you think of olives and you buy olives and you have this red stuff within the olive, this is actually kind of put in there together with alginate in order to make it stick to the olive. And there's other products you use in your daily life, like your toothpaste. It can have alginate in it. Or take the source for your ice cream, or the ice cream itself. It contains alginate. So it's used in many products you use every day, more than 600 products, but we are not so aware about it at all times.
What eats seaweed is sea urchins, and sea urchins is an invasive species coming and eating all of this. But we have a man here who is actually trying to get people to eat more sea urchins. And Maria, have you tried sea urchins before?
Never tried it, but I know that they have huge environmental impact on the ocean because, you know, they replace all of the tang og tare in the ocean, which is natural carbon sink. So if we eat more sea urchins, then we increase the ocean's possibility to capture and store more CO2.
Perfect. And we have a guy who will help you with that, and we have a woman who will help you to promote eating more seaweed. So please welcome Ecofang, and after that, you have Marit from Sjømatsfest presenting. So give them a round of applause.
Thank you.
So thank you for this opportunity. I should just made half my speech, so this is going to go fast. So the pictures we just saw, we don't see many of them. We don't see a lot of seaweed because it's gone. It's just a lot of sea urchins. That is the next year. When we go back to fields where we did a lot of catching, we see a lot of that. So it has a huge impact. So Ecofang, at the starting point, had a quite huge question. How can we turn this disaster, an environmental disaster, into something useful? And that is that all the coastline from Trondheim to Kirkenes has actually been filled with sea urchins, and all the seaweed is gone. So we had to come up with two big solutions. The one is, how do we catch sea urchins large scale? No one did that. And the other one is, how do we storage a lot of volume with sea urchins and maintain them until we can deliver it to the restaurants or wherever. So we had a big task. So a few years later, and with a lot of failure and a lot of tears, we have developed our own sea urchin harvester, the remote control harvester, and storage facilities. When we are out catching sea urchins, both the boat and the machines run electrical. And we recharge at night to go out the next morning, unless it's in the summer. That may be that we are out in the night because we are kind of don't know night and day with the sun and everything. So our goals are, of course, to have people to eat more sea urchins. Is a delicacy. We want to harvest a lot of sea urchins because it's so much of them. This year we're probably gonna harvest up to 100 tons, I hope. And we want to create a new marine industry based here in Tromsø, and with it a lot of jobs and tax money, of course, for the town. And in this process it'll have a huge impact on the kelp forest and the life in the ocean around Tromsø that we see every day. And also, of course, the catching of carbon. So let's make Tromsø the urchin capital of Norway, and Norway one of the largest exporters of sea urchins. That is our future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to back in Tromsø in June. Then you can participate our seafood festival. We established the seafood festival, or Sjømatfest, with the aim of building knowledge, creating pride, and spreading the joy of seafood. Together with our eager partners, we invite everyone to a party to celebrate the seafood and other seafood activities during the year. Our main goal is that Tromsø will become the seafood city. We established the company Sjømatfestivalen in 2019, and actually it started as a surprise. Our own surprise over the low awareness that we and most people had of the important position Tromsø had in the seafood sector. When you summarize the numbers of companies, organizations, research facilities, educational institutions, and authorities related to the seafood in this city, you realize there's plenty of them. We find it strange that we who live and work in Tromsø don't have more fish and ocean in our lives. That we on general basis don't have knowledge of what takes place here within production, research, development, management, and so on within the seafood sector. Norway has an ambition to continue to be a major power in harvesting, cultivating, developing, and researching the ocean resources. Seafood is our country's second largest export industry, and we exported a staggering 172 billion Norwegian crowns worth of seafood last year. The global ambition as well, seen through the United Nations eyes, is that more food must be produced from the sea. And the world needs to eat more seafood, they quote. At the same time, the Norwegians have a low consumption of fish and seafood. We eat only approximately 19 kilo seafood a year and 56 or 53 it was kilo meat. At the same time, we export 39 million meals of seafood every day throughout the whole year. For many years, Norway also has carried out countless national programs with the aim of increasing seafood consumption, and still consumption is falling. So there are a few paradoxes here. Sjømatfest, we choose to focus on the food, the seafood. Seafood is delicious, exciting. We want to inspire all of us to be seafood lovers. We love and to love where we come from and what we are raised of, and what the seafood means today and in the future. When we gather around food, we are in a position, we think, to build knowledge about the food and the seafood sector, and hopefully, in a long time, we build pride. Seafood must become a more frequent part in our daily lives. In that, maybe we can make a small contribution of increasing the consumption. This is how we can build experiences and knowledge that give us the identity as a seafood nation, as a seafood city. Because the seafood is cool, it's dry, it's fun, and it's the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So I made two promises to people. I promised Maria that she will leave sharp at 7, and I promised there will be a quiz. So Maria, unfortunately you will miss the quiz, but you will be able to leave on time. 2 questions. One very small. How was the food?
It was delicious.
Perfect.
Truly.
Second one, a little bit less soft. Geopolitically, over the last few years, a lot has changed, especially in the north. How is that impacting the blue economy? How can we, I mean, is that area for collaboration? Do we have to stop collaborate? We still have Russian fishing vessels in Tromsø. There's the Central Arctic Ocean Fisheries Agreement. Maybe you could just here, before you have to leave, put a few words of how the geopolitical situation actually has impacted the north when it comes to the blue economy.
That's a very important and a very big question. I think just to address the previous speaker, what a beautiful ambition to position Tromsø as the seafood capital. It is already the Arctic capital. And as we know, the Arctic is mostly ocean, and so is the planet. In many ways, I think I love the ocean. I view the ocean as the mother of all ecosystems. It has, for centuries throughout our lifetime of humanity, provided us with food, with transportation, with resources. And we often think about the ocean as a resource or a space. But it is first and foremost nature. It is vulnerable nature, which has underneath the surface of the ocean hidden the state, which is it is in. And the reason to the environmental degradation in the ocean, and friends, we know that climate crisis and the nature crisis, they meet in the ocean. But the solutions to both of them are also found in the ocean. So no ocean, no us. But we need to take better care of our mother, which the ocean is. And in that way, ocean can help us. If we manage to eat more sea urchins, we can increase the potential of carbon capture and storage the natural way. If we manage to transition away from using heavy fuel oils, well, we don't do that in the Arctic, obviously, but other places in the world, to renewable sources of energy for shipping, then we will reduce the issue of noise, the issue of emissions, and we will also provide a green mean of transportation, ocean-based. Also renewable energy, a way of producing new medicine, which the growing global population will need, is all a part of the sustainable ocean economy, which will be a life support system of the future zero-emission society. But there is a huge challenge to all of this. I saw the Sustainable Development Goal 14 on the screen here before I got up on this stage. And that is the least funded of all of the Sustainable Development Goals. So we have huge ambitions for how much we want to use the ocean, but we are consistently underfinancing it. So for Norway as a sustainable ocean nation, which with the core principle of balancing conservation with sustainable use and always putting knowledge first, meaning that if there are knowledge gaps, we need to fill those prior to engaging in any type of activity. The very core of that balance and how we manage the ocean in a way which will enable it to help us to build both the economy but also our own life support system, it's core. So I take very much pride in working with ocean politics. It's exciting, it's challenging, and on the geopolitical stage, it's more important than ever that we see how can we work together around the issues that unite us, and I think nothing unites us more than the ocean.
No, I agree, and there's a lot of important points about renewable energy, about how the ocean can actually help us. Give a round of applause to the State Secretary Maria. We will get back to Luna and Håkon in the next panel. We heard about the knowledge gap that was there from the State Secretary. We're gonna close that gap right now. So if you joined the quiz, you have a chance of winning a prize. And I would say it's actually a good prize, but you need to come back to Tromsø to really benefit from the prize. So please log on. We have 4 questions in this round. And after this, we have 4 more questions. So there's 2 rounds into it. Yes, the panelists can get something to eat while everyone else is quizzing away. So let's just start the quiz. And then you have got around 20 seconds to answer each question. So let's go to number 1. And the faster you answer, the better. And you actually, Marit already gave one of the answers, just a cliffhanger. So Norwegian stockfish is a key ingredient in this Portuguese dish. So what's the name of the dish that is using a lot? You can see the options on your phone as well, if it's not clear enough on the screen. So let's see. Bacalhau, exactly. But the thing about Norwegian stockfish is also used somewhere else. So if we go to the next question. Bacalhau mantecato is a regional dish in Venice, in Italy. But what year did the first Norwegian stockfish come to Venice? So this is a famous story of a man who was in a shipwreck in Røst. And he was from Italy, he was from Venice, and he discovered stockfish. He brought it back to Venice, and today is the regional dish of Venice. In 1432, the export of Norwegian stockfish started to Italy. So let's get the next question. So Arctic Science, which is a biotech company here in Tromsø, they are extracting enzymes from cod liver. In 2020, their market value grew by 800%. But why? So what happened since Arctic Science? And it's a small company that has existed since the 80s. But there was one reason, exactly. There was a pandemic. And Arctic Science found out that you can use the enzymes from cod liver to make the best COVID-19 vaccines. Now, the final questions for this round, and then, how many of the registered fishermen in Norway are women? Let's see. 432. I will call it room for improvement, because there's a lot of fishermen, and maybe we can talk with Luna how we can actually get young people to start working in the seafood industry. But let's just see who is leading. Mia, Krok, and Nai. And as I said, there will be a prize for the best ones. But I will just go straight to the panel now, because you guys also need to talk. First of all, Luna, how was the seafood?
Great, amazing. Yeah, I think when I said that young people don't eat fish, I need to underline that it's not because it's not good. We do understand and we like fish, absolutely.
And I mean, we heard that there's not that many women working in the seafood sector. I mean, as a young woman representing, again, now you're going to be speaking on behalf of many, but how do we get more people to work in this sector? We also heard the industry is asking for a workforce.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because when you talk about working in the fishing industry, it's very known amongst young people that there's a lot of money in it. You can earn a lot and have very cool and important jobs working in the fishing industry. Yet when you think of working in the fishing industry, you always or firstly think of working as a fisherman. And I think there's a lot of stigma against going to those jobs that aren't going to an education, going to university. That's what a lot of people are pursuing these days. And so that stigma needs to be eliminated, of course. But I also think that a lot of the problem lies with the fact that the jobs, the interesting and the cool jobs in the fishing industry aren't being commercialized enough. Like in the small cities where you are dependent on working in the fishing industry to stay in those small areas, a lot of people understand how much and how cool the fishing industry is and how many opportunities lie there, and especially how much money you can earn there. But when you're living in a city like Tromsø with so many opportunities, you kind of forget how big of a part of Norway fishing is, although we are known for being such a big part of the fishing industry, and we have this rich history with fishing. I wish that the schools would implement it more and have and the university would show more the opportunities that lie within fishing. And then I think you would automatically have a lot more people go, oh, of course, that's natural, living in Norway and knowing that fishing is one of the biggest parts of being in a region. Of course, that's the place I should be working. But now we're looking at, going abroad or not staying here and working with what is truly Norwegian.
Håkon, you're one of the policymakers in the county. So what can we do to get more people to get excited about the blue economy and work in the blue economy and so on, young and old?
Talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. Yes, I think we have to, I think the key here is the young people, of course. How we can use tell them and teach them how to use seafood in a new modern way, make it TikTok watchable, as Luna talked about. And also I think we could look to other countries to see how we can prepare seafood in a more sexy way, adapt the other countries' style to prepare seafood and use the lovely Norwegian seafood and make it our own. Yes, we have a lot of examples on that with sushi, ceviche, and so on. But we can rebrand them and make them Norwegian, and we have some lovely tastes of that today.
And just, Håkon, again, one more question, because we heard about people being one challenge, getting workforce, but another one is infrastructure. You know, we heard from some of the first companies getting products into market. What can we do when it comes to infrastructure to support the blue economy?
Of course, we have our largest gateway to the market is through Sweden and Finland, and we have to continue our good network working with the west-east corridor there. We have done that as a strategy for years, and we will keep on doing it. In our political platform, we said something about that, which is that we're going to prioritize infrastructure projects for better, more climate-friendly and safer transport solutions and power supplies for the seafood industry. So this is an ongoing project, and we just have to continue working with it.
And one of the products, and we will get back to you again later, one of the products we need to get into markets is sea cucumber. So I'll just put on a video about why we should eat sea cucumbers in the north. Then I will go and talk with Espen if he's ready to serve sea cucumber. So please put on the video.
A sea cucumber is a fascinating creature. We have plenty of them here in Norway, but we have two species in particular which are very interesting from a food perspective. It's the orange-footed sea cucumbers and the Norwegian red sea cucumber. And we have proven several times that this is a species that we have in our waters. It's an accessible species. It seems to every margin that it's a sustainable population, but we're just not using it. I think we should eat sea cucumbers because this is another species we haven't used before, but it's able to broaden our food accessibility and our food diversity. From a nutritious perspective, we're also seeing that it has a low amount of lipids and fat, a mediocre amount of things like protein. So this is a food resource which is low in caloric intake, but what we're seeing on the other side, it's so rich in micronutrients, things like minerals, things like antioxidants, things like vitamins, things we really require for our body to function well. And this is where sea cucumbers are prospering.
So, Espen, challenge accepted, or?
We have actually tried.
And what happened? So healthy.
Yeah. It wasn't a success.
No.
No.
But I get this. What about other things like seaweed, for example, like kelp? Is that something that you have tried?
We use a lot of seaweed.
In what ways are you using it?
You will get some now.
This is from seaweed. That was good timing. So what is this? It's beautiful.
It's a cracker made from seaweed. We use it dried. Yeah. We use it also fresh when we have it. So we pick it ourselves, or that when we have time to pick. So we use it both as garnish for a fish dish or something like that, or in a soup, and we also use it like you will have today.
Okay.
So this is skrei.
Yeah, and could you just explain for the foreigners what skrei is? Because it's a very Norwegian thing. We're very proud of it, and we just mention it. Like we assume everyone knows this word.
At work, we call it the horny cod, but it's the cod that goes up north. That wanders, and it goes up north to reproduce. So it swims for a long distance. It has leaner, nicer flesh, and it's extremely sustainable.
And I just want to, now you mentioned High North, and we're going to hear from two companies in a second, and one of them is crab fishery, king crab and snow crab and so on. Is that something you're using in your restaurant? And
yes, from time to time.
From time to time.
Yes.
Because, and I'll come back to you, because the next two speakers, now we heard about something coming from the High North. The next two speakers, one is from the high oceans, another one is from the high mountains, because seafood doesn't have to necessarily be related just to be eaten straight from the sea. There can be some processing. So the first speaker is from Arctic Pioneer, so Per Tore, if you could come up, see you there. So he's from Arctic Pioneer. He will speak about the king crab and the snow crab and so on. We have a short video to show as well. And then followed by Drytech, which is an amazing company here in Tromsø. Started in a garage and now is exporting to the whole world. But they're also using seafood in their sector. But Per Tore, please take the stage. Not yet. Try again.
Can you hear me
Yep.
now? Yeah. Sorry. You must be my poor English. Hello and thank you for the invitation to share our perspective of the snow crab fisheries in Barents Sea. You just saw the vessel Kvitungen, our oldest pride and joy. I will tell you a little bit about who we are, such as how we are achieving having 30% of women on board in one of the toughest fisheries. I will also discuss the snow crab as a resource, as lack of proper regulation also from Norwegian governments. Kom ikke nytt bilde. Der kom det. Many associates snow crab fishing with the guys and the TV series Deadliest Catch. Yes, it is an entertaining series and the conditions can be tough. But beyond that, let's Discovery tell their own stories and we can share our reality. I am a fourth generation in a fishing and shipping family here in Tromsø. We have over years been involved in seal hunting, cod, shrimp, and now crab. We are one of the first to start up with the snow crab in the Barents Sea, almost more than 10 years ago. Back then, we adapted our old seal hunting vessel Kvitungen for crabbing and became learning the fisheries. There has been a lot of trials and errors, but now I'm proud to say that our fleet of 3 boats employing between 100 to 150 staff members across 6 shifts. I'm also proud when I stand in the dock and see the ripple effects we create for the business in electrical, plumbing, freezing technology, engines, hydraulics, fuel, and food, both in Tromsø and in Båtsfjord and Køllefjord. I'm very proud that the skilled people working aboard. 30% of our crew are women. They did not get the job because they won, but because they have an excellent job. We also found a good gender balance between creates a positive working environment on board. If they was to highlight one of the women, it would be our factory manager Ida, who is not only doing a fantastic job for us, but is also one of the founders of the organization Hundfisker. You can check it out at hundfisker.com. But now to the downside of what I and others in the industry is trying to build. The lack of boat quotas in snow crab fishing. Currently, there is one large shared quota fished by all boats, so-called Olympic fishing, or first come, first served until it's empty, to put it another way. What is the consequences of this policy? Without individual quotas and with Olympic fishing becomes difficult, if not impossible, to secure financing from the banks or other funding sources. Negative for the value utilization of the crab resource. All crabs above the minimum size are caught, even when the result of lower average value of the catch. Snow crab prices can vary from 60 to 200 crowns per kilogram of the boat. And no one takes the time to fish, especially for the size of the market demands. Boats compete and are pressured to fish in unfavorable water and conditions. I cannot plan operation based on the boat maintenance, crew, weather, and ice conditions as I would like. The snow crab population in the Barents Sea is steadily increasing. Global markets want this excellent resource. Proper management will ensure sustainable population. I expect and have faith that in 2025 season, the Norwegian authorities will ensure quotas per boat. Then our industry can and will work as an established, predictable, profitable, and secure fishery that create numbers of jobs and sustainable ripple effects along the northern Norway. And of course, bring an excellent sustainable food resource to the global market. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And from the high seas to the high mountains, we have Monica from Drytech. And Drytech for me is one of the most exciting companies because it really is shows what you can do in the north. So Monica, please do tell us, I mean, out in nature, far away from the water, how do I get seafood?
Yes. First of all, it's nice to see Espen here on stage because we are both from the same place and we grew up in Vesterålen. Hi Espen, nice to meet you. I'm so proud of him. He's really a good chef. Yes, at Drytech are very thankful for the opportunity to participate at this event as we produce all our real branded meals here in Tromsø. I am excited to share the story behind our real Turmat bacalao meal, as we are very proud to be the only producer in the world of freeze-dried bacalao. They say you cannot fake the taste of Norwegian clipfish, which is made of sustainable caught fish from the cold, clear waters of Norway. It's salted and dried according to the long tradition of genuine Norwegian craftsmanship. Liv, you know all about that. As a Tromsø-based producer, it's natural for us to develop our own bacalao. For you to know, we spent many years on the main ingredient, clipfish. In very close cooperation with our supplier, Reinøya Sjømat, to ensure the right salty taste and consistency of the clipfish bites. The quality of the fresh cooked clipfish product is crucial, as our tender freeze-drying process takes care of both taste, consistency of the fish product. Our developer team and chefs wanted this special clipfish casserole to taste just like a homemade bacalao. Someone told me it exists 365 different recipes on bacalao in Portugal, one for each day. So we tried a lot of different recipes as well. We decided to choose a tomato-based casserole with Norwegian potatoes. This is a common recipe and well known for many fish lovers. We are so proud to introduce this meal for our customers, and the bacalao is now available all over Europe in the sport and outdoor market. And I want to just share a review from a British customer, which I'm very proud of. Real Turmat meals are the best dehydrated camping meals available. And in my opinion, bacalao, one of the best of the best. Anyone who can make a super tasty fish-based dehydrated meal is pretty special. Usually, I wouldn't go near a fish-based camping meal, but this is lovely. Really tasty cod with a speso tomato-based sauce. It warms the chef's heart at Drytech. For the future, we experienced increased demand on plant-based meals. And I hope strongly and believe we have the opportunity to develop tasteful and nutrient ingredients from marine resources from the big blue ocean. Our freeze-drying process will gently take care of the product's attributes, such as taste, consistency, and content of important nutrients, which we really need. And on top, we also give the ingredients a long shelf life. For us, it will be fantastic to have a vegan alternative from the sea, and it will really be helpful for us to have a plant-based meal from the sea as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monica. And the good thing about this dry tech is you can actually travel with it when you leave from Tromsø. We will now move on to the next 4 questions of the quiz, and then we have questions for the panel, and then we will look into the crystal ball and look into what the future of the oceans will look like. So please get ready. Some of you probably already has it open, most of you, most likely. So we will get ready for the questions. If IT will collaborate with you, so this is the Mike Tyson challenge. Luna, maybe I will go straight to you while we are fixing technical problems. So not that you have to answer. The food you tasted tonight, that's not the seafood you cook at home, I guess.
No, probably.
But any one of them that were favorites?
Oh yeah, they were so good. I was super surprised, especially the one with the shrimps.
Yeah.
I don't know what it tasted like cake. I was like, this can't be real. And then I was just like looking at the others, wondering if they were thinking the same thing I was, because that was heavenly.
No, that's great. And I want to hear. So maybe you could just, for people that don't know, that Tromsø has become the youth capital. And I know that you're passionate about this, but I also want to know what can we do in the blue economy sector to link up with the youth capital of Tromsø. So if you just could put some few words into that.
Yeah. Well. A big part, like the pillars of the European Youth Capital Project, is to be able to live, work, and create in the whole Arctic. So in typical Tromsø fashion, we're not just thinking about Tromsø, but the whole of northern Norway and Arctic. And of course, a big part of making young people able to live and work here is focusing on the fishing industry a lot more and the blue economy. So I think that's a very, very natural part. And just imagine a place like this, for me to be able to be here, that's already a step in the right direction, talking in front of so many cool and important people and having a platform. So just continuing to doing that, and perhaps and hopefully on an even bigger scale in 2026, when we're the European Youth Capital, would be the first step. And then, of course, we'll go into structural changes as we go.
So we have one of these cool and important people sitting next to you. So Håkon, now, as I said, you're from the County Council, and the County Council has been working on local food for the past many years, 4 years, I think it is, on a project promoting local food. Why is it so important? I mean, you sit in the Committee of Businesses in the County Council. Why is it so important that we have the local food production here? Is it because we want to buy local? Is it for sustainable reasons? Is it for job creation? Maybe you could elaborate. Why is it that the County Council wants to promote local food production this way?
I think both, in every way, because of the sustainability to eat local food in our own region, but also for the export reasons, because we have the best produce and the best food in the world, the best seafood and the best reindeer. Yeah. So
just because we are the best.
We are the best, so that's mainly the easiest way to say it.
Did you have a favorite one of the dishes today?
I liked the one that was the smoked, it almost tasted like bacon crisp, but it was all fish.
Yeah, exactly, that's the one that used to be thrown away, but is now on the menu, so that's a very good one. Looks like we are back on the quiz. Let's find out who the winner is and who's going to get this very great prize, so be ready on your phones. Sorry for the people that just got food, and also has to be ready on the phone. So let's try to see if the quiz works this time. 4 questions, fastest one gets the most point. And as I said, Marit already gave you one of the answers. 2023, Norway exported 2,500 tons of this invasive species worth a lot of money. So what invasive species did Norway make 1.2 billion Norwegian kroner from? It's not sea urchin yet, unfortunately, but it's the king crab. King crab that came from up north, and it's actually good. We are helping if we eat it. So let's take the next one. But it could be sea urchins in the future, which is as much of an invasive species. So what is the biggest market for the Norwegian seafood by value? So here it's not by tons, but this is the value that Norwegian seafood is. I think many of you will be surprised about this one. As many of you know, Norwegian seafood is being sold everywhere. Salmon goes to Japan and so on. But the biggest one by value is in Poland. Yeah, surprise of the day. So we have two more. And talking about Japan, it was actually Norwegians that introduced salmon on the sushi. The Japanese didn't eat that traditionally. Norwegian seafood export reached an all-time high in 2023. How many meals are served with Norwegian seafood on the plate every single day around the world? So, how many meals are being served of Norwegian seafood? Is it 10,000, 39,000, 1 million, or 39 million plates? Someone listened, Marit. It was good. It was good. Then we got the final question. And if the winner could raise their hands, then we will come down with the prize for the winner. So this chair that you see on the photo, this is produced from recyclable materials in northern Norway. But what is this chair made of? So this is a company called Snøhetta. You can also see the photo on your phone. So Snøhetta decided to make, and they actually have a pillow made from cod skin from the company Norskin. So you can get a pillow made from cod skin. Exactly. So old fishing nets. So instead of just having the fishing nets lying around, they're collecting it, granulating it, and making a chair out of it. So if you need a new sustainable chair, but let's see. Carl Gustav, Nige, Keep Me, Zlatan. There's a lot of Swedish references here. But that's the winner. So who is NAJ? That's Nils Arne Jonsen from Fylkeskommunen, and I think that's slightly dubious, but here's the prize. And we also have number 2 from Metal. So who is Metal? Metal is over there. There's a prize for the researcher, the seafood researcher. Let's put on a video, and then we have the last presentation, and where we look into the crystal ball, and we will get the final words from the panel. So we just have a short video to show you in a second, and then we have the Center for Ocean and the Arctic.
We're married, so it's a family restaurant we're running. Like a few years ago, we had a whole year, like the fish wasn't called fish or catch of the day, it was like bycatch. Just stood bycatch on the menu, and the idea behind that is, of course, to be a channel instead of it being wasted. Like perfectly supreme good fish without the market. We want the best, and we want a specific fish, for example. So if one doesn't have it, we just continue calling. We shop now for the most from Domstein in Kalfjord, but we also shop from Dragøy, and we shop from Karls, we shop from Ekofang, if it's sea urchins, for example. The local market has a second priority because of the big export on fresh fish, for example. Now, big focus on whitefish. So it's like, and it's kind of, it has an impact on the prices, of course, because the fishermen want the easy way out and the biggest pay.
So we heard a lot about the ocean today and all sorts of the oceans. And in Tromsø, we have the Center for the Ocean and the Arctic. So the director has been so kind to come and give us a little bit insight into the crystal ball and see how we're going to use the oceans in the future. So your slides will be on in a second. Yeah, there you go. Anna, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. It's the last presentation, and it's not about food at all. It's about a new idea of having marine business parks as we are used to business parks on land. The Center for the Ocean and the Arctic is placed within the university, UiT, the Arctic University of Norway, but it's funded from the Ministry of Fishery, Trade and Business. And the aim of the center is to gain and gather information do analysis and then give policy advice or policy briefs. So what is a marine business park? A marine business park is when 2 or more marine businesses activity take place simultaneously in the same area or on the same physical platform. Most of us think that the ocean is so big it can be no question of space in the ocean, but it is, and it's not only a question of space, it's a question of organizing our activities at sea in the best possible way, sustainable, and also with a circular economic view. So in this picture, you can see what a marine business park may look like. It could be a combination of something that produces electricity, like a wind farm, and attached to the wind farm, we can have seaweed production, we can have fish farms, we can have stations for fueling of electric ships coming by, and all of that within a small area in the ocean. So there are a lot of upsides to this idea. It is efficient use of space, but it's also a source, it could be a resource of renewable energy. It could trigger innovation, reduce cost, induce circular economy, and make more areas available for other users, and potentially also fewer conflicts. What has been done today? Very little in Norway, I would say, but there is a very exciting EU project headed by the Institute of Marine Research called Olamur, and they have 3 trial sites, one in Denmark, one in Estland, and one in the Netherlands, trying to combine different activities in the ocean in order to make a better future for ocean farming of different prey and ocean energy production. We have given a policy brief to the Minister of Fishery that we just saw, Cecilie Myrseth, and there is a lot of things that has to be done by the authorities in order to prepare for marine business parks in Norway. Many of the things is related to technological solutions and also to the seafood industry as such, but also to the regulations, because this is not regulated by Norwegian law yet. So we think we should make a dialogue forum for marine bioparks in the future, and the aim is that we in 2035 should have at least one full-scale marine industrial park. So with this, we can look into the future and have a lot of expectations for another way of doing business at sea. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Espen, I'm just going to finish with you before I go to the panel, because I see, is that desserts? Or?
Yes.
But how is that related to the blue economy, desserts?
It's fish and seaweed and yeah.
In an ice cream cone?
Yes.
If you have one message to people when it comes to the blue economy and seafood and so on, other than coming to the Newsmark and eat, what's the message for us customers?
I think don't be afraid. Eat more. Of course, it's good for you. Mm. It's good for your body and good for your mind. So I think it's better to think more about what's around you. Mm. Focus more on what is where you are, and eat there like as well. So.
And I will take one of these,
yes.
One of these beautiful balls as well, and I will go and serve it to the panel, and we will get the last message. What? They got already? Anyone from the audience who wants to try a seaweed dessert? Anyone that's here? All the way in the back? Yes, please. So, as you can see, we have a graphic designer who is drawing a summary of everything that's been said. But Luna, what is the last message you want to give to people before they leave?
Oh, thank you so much. I want to go back to the very first question that Mats asked me about why young people don't eat fish, because that's been mentioned so many times, and even the fishing minister talked so much about it. Fish tastes amazing, like we have been shown so many times today, but it's not attractive enough for young people, and it's not affordable enough for young people to prioritize it. And if we are additionally unsure that it's sustainable enough for us, especially with the fishing farms, we're not going to prioritize it. Even though it's healthy, we need to market it as more than healthy. It needs to be attractive, it needs to be dig, and like, I dig it, or...
It needs to be dig.
It needs to be dig.
Yeah, but I think I need some translation later. But Håkon, how do we make seafood dig?
I want you, after today, just remember one word. It's deep. Not dig, but deep. Develop, education, environment, and pride. It's the development of, develop new ways to use seafood. Education, it's our future for the food industry and the blue and economic. Environment, seafood is sustainable and will be a part of the green shift. And last but not least, pride in using and eating Norwegian seafood.
Perfect, thank you. And with these, I think, great words from a great panel. You will get to see this if you follow us on LinkedIn. You will see the whole summary. But please give a round of applause to all the speakers and enjoy the main reception now. Thank you for your time.
Ja, det är din far.